Okay, welcome in. I'm just going to take a look at yesterday's trade between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Jets. So the Raiders traded away Davante Adams to the New York Jets for a third round pick, which could possibly be a second round pick, depending on how the Jets do, I believe, if they are able to make the postseason. Now, when you're in his position, when you're in your 30s, you want to try to join a team that you believe is going to be very successful and make the playoffs or even be a Super Bowl contender. But both these teams only have 2 wins. So a big question mark for me is, does he really think he's going to join the Jets and they're going to all of a sudden propel and succeed and dominate? In order for them to even be above 500, I just seen a stat earlier, they have to win at least 7 games out of the last 11 in order for them to stay above 500 and compete for a playoff spot. And I believe that's a really tall task to order for this squad, being 2-4 heading into week number 7. So I think it's truly going to be a challenge, to say the least. Um, they can be competitive, sure, and obviously if Rodgers and Adams, they have that same connection that they did in Green Bay, things can possibly work out, and maybe, who knows, they possibly can push for a playoff berth. But I think it's a lot to ask for a guy, like I said, in his 30s, to be that guy and to help your quarterback get back to an above 500 record, because they just came off a loss to the Bills. So in order for them to get to above 500, they have to win at least 3 more games. And is it possible? Sure, it's possible. Is it realistic? I doubt it. I really do. I'm not trying to be a Jets hater. I'm not trying to be a Davante hater, or not trying to be an Aaron Rodgers hater. I'm really not. I'm just trying to look at the facts. You have a quarterback who's basically 40 years old. Davante, like I said, is in his early, mid 30s, whatever the case may be, is probably early 30s. So they're not going to be as dynamic as they were, say, 3 or 4 years ago when they were both playing with the Packers. So I think it's, again, only reason he's choosing to go to New York over a team that's above 500 is just to reunite with Aaron Rodgers. And again, maybe they can be dynamic. Maybe they can have a decent rest of the season. But as for whether or not they're Super Bowl contenders, I highly doubt it. There's just too many good teams in the AFC, and the Bills are looking pretty good, to say the least, in that division. Um, and then outside of that, you have the Dolphins and the Patriots, who only have 1 and 2 wins respectively. So, yes, the Jets could possibly push themselves up to second place in that division, but I don't think they're going to win the AFC East. And if they do get to a playoff spot, they'll be fighting tooth and nail just to get into that position. So, I just wanted to have this little clip about the big trade that happened yesterday, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, and they'll go and win a lot of games, and possibly can go into a playoffs position. But it's not like the Jets are 4-2 or 5-1 or 3-3. They're 2-4. They're 2 games below 500 already, and they need wins now, because if you're fighting tooth and nail to get into the postseason, you could lose out by a game or two. So it's a high risk, high reward. We'll see how the Jets do. And as for the Raiders, just another disappointment, and their hopes of getting back into a playoff position. I think it's still going to be another tough year this upcoming season. So yeah, I just wanted to make this little video about the trade between the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Jets. What do you guys think? Do you think the Jets are better off with Adams? Can they lead them to a playoff position? Can they lead them to a division title? Can they lead them to a Super Bowl? It would be a fun story to tell, no doubt. But again, when you try to be realistic and you look at the Chiefs and the Ravens, and there's other really good teams as well in the AFC, I think they'll be very hard to beat, even if they get to the big dance. Anyways, as always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.